Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the 10th episode of the Extra Attacker podcast, starring Kynan Sorkin and Jeff Hale. How are you, Jeff?
I am great, except for my eye, which is shining like Rudolph's nose.
Yeah, Jeff, fun fact, was one of the perpetrators in the Paul Bissonnette fight at the bar. He was one of the people attacking him, and Jeff got decked. What can we
Yeah,
say?
that's all I got, but you should see the other guy.
Yeah. When you're fighting 8-on-1, you're lucky to be alive, I'd say. So I think he came out all right.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. Biz is pretty small. He's a small dude.
Yeah, total lightweight.
Yeah. How are you?
I'm okay. I'm okay.
Okay. I don't know if it's accurate, but I feel like we haven't talked much this week.
No, it's and I forgot to share the screen. There we go. Now you're
There we
seeing
go.
things. There we go. Too many buttons to press. Yeah,
No,
it was
seeing
good.
anything.
It was good. I got to go to the Oilers game on Tuesday, Edmonton against Tampa Bay, and it was a world class production of goaltending. Both goalies were putting on elite level displays of talent,
Love seeing it.
and it was very fun. So, but in 2-1 victory for Edmonton, so that was very nice, very nice, and got to see up close and personal and McDavid break through the defenders, deke out the goalie, and score. It was worth the price of admission just for that 1 3-second moment.
Dude, I'm sitting there with my roommates watching the Utah game, and they do the like, hey, here's highlights from other games around the league while we have a break in action, and they showed that. I'm like, that's freaking disgusting. And I look over at my roommate, and I'm like, that's what we got robbed of when we went to the Edmonton game here, because he didn't do jack.
Well, see, that's almost the funny thing is, do you want your team to shut him down, or
No,
do you want him to put on a show and make you look silly?
I want him to put on a show and make us look dumb for like a goal or two, and then Stuart Skinner to like liquefy his femur so we can score 8. I want both. It's
No,
not good
see,
enough unless I
you
have it
don't
my way.
you don't get both. The thing is, you can't. If he finds a way to be, you have to shut him down completely, or you're done. There's no in between. There's no middle ground.
It's true.
It's just he's that good, and you can't have it both ways.
Yeah.
He
Yeah,
he
but
is a cake. He's a cake that you cannot have and eat it too.
If I ever get the chance to meet him, I'm gonna tell him you need to go watch this episode of our podcast where Kynan called you a cake.
I'd say it to his face.
Uh, it's a little
is,
sus if you ask me.
is it real or is it cake? He is cake. Absolutely.
Is it real or cake?
All right. Well, let's hop into this week in hockey, and let's look at the teams. The teams are we're now really reaching that solidified thing. They say that if you're not in a playoff spot by American Thanksgiving, because since there's both Canadian and American, you got to clarify. You're not making the playoffs, which is usually about 75% true. Usually, at least, about 6-ish of the teams in a playoff spot come Thanksgiving are the ones who are going to make it. But then those, maybe the third place, maybe the wild card spots, they're up for grabs, and we can see that in the rankings. But Jeff, the Wild are no longer on top of the league.
Yeah, and I think that's just an interesting thing that you mentioned there with the whole Thanksgiving cutoff. It feels like we're still in the first week or two of the season to me. It feels like we're still early, but we're 10 weeks in. I mean,
Well,
teams have
12 really, because this is
12.
week 10 based off of our episodes, not even
That's true.
like we're
12 weeks. Yeah.
we've
I
played
mean, we can go
two.
at it.
Yeah, we've played 2.5 months of hockey.
Yeah. I want to make a clarification here, though. In our notes, you said the Oilers decimated the Wild. What is it that you texted me the other day? Because that's a little bit better.
Oh yeah, well I said that the Oilers domesticated the Wild.
Domesticating the Wild, 7-1. You know how high I am on Minnesota. Arguably I would put them as one of the top 3 teams in the league right now. They're so freaking good. They're so talented. Yes, it is absolutely subjective. I still don't think Winnipeg's for real.
I think
They're
you
going
could.
to collapse.
I mean, right now, I think you could objectively say that Minnesota is one of the top 3 teams in the league. Objectively.
Yeah. That's thank you for that. Thank you for that. Yeah, 7-1 to the Oilers. I mean, no, the Oilers not a bad team, but 7-1 anybody is just gross. Like, did they have just come out with a chip on their shoulder or what? 7 goals, that's a lot. Turns out 7 is more than 6.
Yeah, it is. It's even more than 5. And the Wild just now, to be fair to the Wild, they did have 2 of their top players out. I believe both are defensemen, so that's a big deal because they're a very defensively minded team.
Yeah.
As their goal differential, despite being 3rd in the league, first place Winnipeg Jets have a plus 34 goal differential. Capitals have plus 36. Minnesota plus 16. So they're not a high goal scoring team. They just don't let in a lot of goals. So that losing a couple of your big defensemen, that's a problem.
Big deal.
However, Edmonton's just showed up to play, and that was great to see. And the Jets, I mean, this week killed Boston. They made the poor Bears, the poor Bruins. They just hunted to extinction in that game. 8-1.
I'll be honest. I want so bad for us to miss the playoffs. I don't want Boston to squeak in with a playoff spot because that'll just tell the ownership everything's fine.
Well,
no, everything's not fine. I want to collapse. I want last place. Go Nashville Predators.
Well, I'm shocked. You guys, Boston, despite their negative 23 goal differential, is in a playoff spot currently. Now,
in this week, I think the last week, 2 weeks or so, we've lost multiple games by like 4 goals, 5 goals. Like it's been bad.
Yeah, I mean, you're likely you could lose it is the thing because Tampa Bay, they have 4 games in hand on Boston. They're only 1 point behind. I can pull this up here, and
there you go.
And Ottawa is 2 games behind, 3 points behind. So if they won both those games, they would be ahead of Boston, and so Boston would drop down to 5th place, which is incredible for Ottawa. Great for them to be in that position. Not great for Boston. Yeah. And if we look at the wild card situation, if Boston dropped there, they're at 33. New York, who is not in the playoff spot right now. What in the world?
What the heck happened to them?
New York's almost the Nashville of the East. Not quite, but.
Both New Yorks are right there waiting for a wild card spot. Pittsburgh.
I mean, the Islanders are. Yeah.
They're only a couple points out.
Well, the funny thing is, technically, anyone in the East has a chance of making the playoffs right now because between the second wild card spot and last place in the East is 7 points. That is not insurmountable. Whereas if you look at the West,
that's a week and a half, 2 weeks of going on a run.
Yeah. Whereas in the West, it's a 14-point difference between Chicago and Colorado right now. That's That's literally double.
Yeah. It's embarrassing. We knew it was coming after. We had a couple bad games. As soon as they fire Monty, I said, at this point, we need a collapse. I don't know what we need to do. We need to do something. Quite honestly.
I've heard of funny rumors, or not even rumors, just funny speculation that, Colorado might be looking to trade Mikko Rantanen because he's not the contract renegotiations are not going smoothly. So the rumor mill says. And so if he's not going to re-sign in Colorado, then you don't want to just let him walk. So they trade him. And one of the funny trade ideas I heard was Pasta for Rantanen.
It's not happening.
No, I don't think so either. I don't think it does anything for either team. but it's funny.
And one of the things with Boston is we're very good at, and this isn't even just hockey. This is across all sports. You know, growing up as a diehard baseball fan, I knew it was coming every time. I could spot it a mile away. People said I was crazy. I was right 100% of the time. We're very, very good at, let's pick up underutilized talent, underrated players that maybe had a down year. We're very good at drafting. We're very good at finding the diamond in the rough, developing them, and as soon as they start getting attention, trading them away for pennies. But on the flip side of that, we're also very, very good at, let's develop a hometown hero, and then even if they suck, they're the hometown hero. They're not allowed to go anywhere. They're not allowed to leave. Pasta and Marchi are here for life. They're not leaving. So what's going to happen is we're going to take 18 of our top prospects, and we're going to offer that in the trade package for Rantanen. He'll be here for a year and a half, and then he'll be gone.
Can you? Well, he wants 14 million. Can you even afford 14 million right now? That'd be the next question.
Without looking at the numbers, probably we could make it work, and by that I mean we would make it work by, let's pay everybody else league minimum and have like 3 or 4 really solid guys, and then nobody around them, and then wonder why our team sucks.
Yeah, that tracks.
Boston way.
Yeah. Boston's got to figure some stuff out for sure.
And that figuring out starts with getting rid of Sweeney.
Yeah. Hey, y'all are good at having garbage GMs. You know, you had Peter Chiarelli. Now you have Sweeney. The management choices. Very, very interesting.
He's got to go. A lot of our, it's ownership, honestly. Because both, I don't pay a ton of attention to NBA.
Yeah.
I could not possibly care less about the Patriots if I tried. But both the Red Sox and the Bruins have the same exact issue going on. Our GM isn't horrible. In fact, as far as the Red Sox go, I think we have one of the better GMs in baseball right now. Ownership won't give them the checks, won't give them the money to spend. Ownership talks a big game, comes out, does nothing in the offseason, does nothing at the trade deadline, guts our teams, and then says, well, we don't know what happened. Why aren't we doing well? Ownership's got to go. In the Red Sox case, it is a unique situation because ownership doesn't care about the Red Sox anymore. They care more about their European soccer team, and also the Red Sox ownership owns the Pittsburgh Penguins. You can see what they're doing for Pittsburgh.
Yeah. I didn't know that. That was interesting. So, so guys, this is your chance. Give us all of your money. We'll buy these franchises and make them great again.
Yes. As much as we're memeing, I will put this out there. If we, as a community, can raise the money, I can't volunteer Kynan, but I will go out and buy one of the teams. And by one of the teams, I mean Boston. I'm not buying Pittsburgh. Screw Pittsburgh. I will go buy Boston, and we will run this as a extra attacker community.
Well, how about this? Okay, so everyone who watches this podcast, if each person who does gives each of us $500,000, we'll each have enough to go and buy. You can go and buy Boston. I'll go and buy Pittsburgh, and we'll see who can do a better job. See who wins the cup first.
Ooh. Yeah. No more Saturday head-to-head. It'll be every day head-to-head.
Yeah. See who can turn their franchise around quicker.
And that would make for interesting podcasts too. I hate you throughout the week. We're rivals, but now let's sit down and talk about the world of hockey in an unbiased opinion.
It's quite the revolutionary podcast that would become. Heck, we'd have to go from podcast to documentary. That we'd have to change to a documentary.
That would actually be really sick. Just imagine getting a couple of the owners together. I mean, actually, that wouldn't be that interesting. They'd all speak in legalese.
Well, and just drugs, because they're billionaires.
Yeah, that too.
And that's how they cope. I mean, what? Back to hockey. So, Central Division. Remember how at the beginning of the season we're like, man, the Central Division looks so tough and so rough right now. Like I think this might be the most difficult division in the league because they got Winnipeg, Dallas, Colorado, Nashville, heck, Minnesota's could be a possible problem in there. Who knows what Utah's going to be like. And now, I mean, yeah, you've got two of the three best teams in the league, and then Nashville has the worst amount of wins of anyone in the league. The only reason they're ahead of Chicago right now is because they've lost 4 more times in overtime than the Bedards. And like they can't score. And their goaltending's been fine.
They can't do nothing.
Like Saros has been doing what he can. But like this Utah's doing exactly what I thought, but Colorado, they've been really struggling. Dallas.
Look at the goals allowed though on Colorado.
Yeah,
that has been their Achilles heel. We've known Georgiev was never like an elite number 1 goalie in the league. We knew that.
But he's kind of pulling a Jack Campbell.
Yeah. He's better than this. Where the heck did that come from? And now poor guy just got exiled to San Jose. Watch him have a career resurgence. Also, his nickname Forgiev is kind of one of my favorite things ever.
Forgiev? What is?
Yeah, because he gives up 4 goals every night.
Wait. Oh, wait. We gotta... Hold up. Hold up here. I gotta find it out.
Have you not heard that one?
I haven't. Now I gotta see his stats. Hold on, everybody. Okay, well, it's only 3.36 goals against this season, but apparently he's so embarrassed he's asked them to remove his picture from the from the website. Yeah, but Forgiev, I mean, he's probably had a bunch of... Okay, wait, we can see here. How many games... Oh, wait, no, that's career. They don't... Okay,
it's a nickname. I don't know if it's actually real.
Yeah, no. I love it. I'm just trying to justify. I'm trying to find a way to make the numbers justify it. But, oh, well, who cares? I love it. Forgiev. I mean, that's wild.
Yeah. No, that's Colorado.
No, it's San Jose now. I guess.
That is, yeah.
We'll do a little bit. We'll do a little bit of a swap here, but yeah, big trade announcement. This just in, definitely not 5 days old. This just in, the Colorado Avalanche acquire Mackenzie Blackwood and other things from San Jose for Alexander Georgiev. I like calling him Georgiev, but Georgiev and other things.
Oh, Nikolai Kovalenko. I didn't realize he was part of that deal.
Yeah, him. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The other one that I'm just now seeing, I don't know how I didn't see this one right above that. The Blues got Cam Fowler from Anaheim. That's okay.
It's because it happened literally just this morning.
Well, that would be why, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so this actually just in. St. Louis Blues acquire Cam Fowler from Anaheim in exchange for Jeremy. That is a way to spell Jeremy. Biaka Butuka. Say that 5 times fast.
That 5 times fast.
And
I don't know anything about this guy, but it just makes me wonder, like, they just went out and got Trouba, which to me says, hey, we want to gear up a little bit. And then, hey, let's go get rid of Cam Fowler. Okay, I'm confused. What is Anaheim trying to do right now?
I don't know if they're necessarily gearing up. What this shows...
A little bit. That's why I said a little bit.
Well, see, here's the thing. Anaheim...
Trouba is definitely an improvement for them.
Well, yeah, but the thing is the reason they were one of the people that traded for him is because they have the cap space. They still, after picking up Fowler and Trouba, still have $17.5 million in cap space. You just got a $6.5 million guy and an $8.5 million guy, and
they lost Fowler. They got rid of Fowler. That's
Right. Yep. That's what I
Yeah.
said. Okay. Well, never mind. I rescind my
yeah.
my rant. Yeah, but big trades.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. Like, again, Truba's not going to be like a franchise changer, but for somebody like Anaheim, Truba's definitely an improvement. So to go out and get him, like, okay, maybe they're not going for it this year. Clearly, they're way too out of it for that. But let's go pick up a couple guys. Let's start gearing up for the future, and then let's just dump off Campbell. That's why I'm confused. I don't know what they're going for. Maybe they're not going for anything. They're just saying anytime there's an available trade, we're going to take it because we're going to win the award for most trades. I don't know. It's like, is that one of the stars of Mario Party? You made the most trades?
It's on their bingo card. They have to get all the trades. They have to, because
yeah.
they're not making the news in any other way. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't get it.
Yeah.
But I guess I don't have to.
No. But actually, before we move on, since we're being a little bit around, you were telling me something about the Utah back to kind of team things. Well, I guess the trade is kind of player, kind of team.
Yeah.
So, but Utah, there have been times where you were talking maybe they need a trade because injuries or whatnot. But you noticed something in the last week and a half about them that you said you found interesting.
Yeah. This is something we were talking about a little bit before the podcast, kind of off the cuff, and then well deserved. Kind of goes, well, thanks for talking about that before the show and not on the show. Well deserved. So we're gonna rehash that conversation here, but I think it was about a week and a half. It might have been up to 2 weeks ago. Sometime last week, we played Vegas. We embarrassed Vegas, and I had the feeling during that game, and ever since it feels like, Utah's kind of the local team. We see all the local businesses doing commercials with them. I just saw a video of John Marino, Sean Dursey. They went to the local radio station and flipped the switch to officially welcome Christmas music onto the radio station. They're not the professionals. They're not a big NHL team. They're just our local guys. And I know a lot of people feel this way. I've never found a good way to articulate it. Apparently, I did it decent enough. He knew what I was talking about. But, kind of growing up in the Bay Area, watching Giants baseball, that was the same thing. You're seeing all the local commercials. You're seeing the guys doing appearances. And then I'd watch a Red Sox game. And that, the only time I'd get Red Sox games is the national broadcast on ESPN. It's like, oh, now we're watching the major leagues. Now we're watching the big boys. And I felt that switch happen with Utah last week. When I was watching that Vegas game, you're still going to have bad nights. You're still going to make stupid decisions. But a lot of the stupid things they're doing, a lot of the youth and inexperience, I just felt like was gone. This is a real team now. This is a competitive team. I feel like we're actually a National Hockey League team now. And it was just a really interesting mindset shift to watch that happen. That, we're 2-3 points out of a playoff spot now, but that's only 2-3 points. This team has figured it out. We're not perfect. We still got things that we need to improve on. We've still got a ways to go. But they're playing like an actual team now. They're making good decisions. And the last 2 or 3 games, I've seen some things that these guys have done that I haven't thought could even happen all year, just because of that youth and that inexperience. So it's been really interesting to watch, a really cool thing to watch, as we're just watching in real time as these guys figure it out. I mean, really, a lot of these guys are figuring out how to be professional hockey players too. A lot of these guys are young first and second and third year players.
Yeah, and I find that kind of analysis and that insight an interesting interpretation of what is happening, because this is the kind of thing you should be noticing, because this is what should happen to every proper team in the NHL. We've reached the point of the season. Yeah. Well, because, this doesn't happen to every team that are really bad or something, but there is a difference between beginning of the season form and mid-season form, and we're now hitting the mid-season form where teams are really hitting their stride, because in every offseason, you're going to have new players, sometimes new management. Players have taken their time off or whatever, and they come back, and with the new players, you got to relearn how to play together, build the chemistry, learn the systems, understand people's tendencies, all that jazz. And that takes time. And so you're going to see more mistakes and sloppier play at the start of the season. And things that you're like, why are they doing this dumb thing? Well, it's because it's the beginning of the season and they're in early season form. Now we're hitting the point of mid-season form. And this is where teams really start to get into their rhythm. They've ironed out all the wrinkles. And now you're going to start to see them really be their solid selves and see what they're likely to be like in the long term for this season. This is where they really start to solidify your playing style and your capacity, which is why you have certain teams that are maybe better at the beginning of the season because they're able to take advantage of that. And then you have other teams that become really second half season teams because they just every year have that early point struggle. But then once they really hit their groove, they really hit it and just are a powerhouse for the rest of the time. So you're seeing Utah, if they're just on the cusp of being a playoff team. They're right there in the mix. If they're going to be a playoff team, they got to actually hit this point and get to that mid-season solid form so that they can make the push from here on out. They've put themselves in a good enough spot where they can make it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
But now we have to hope that they can maintain this and build on it.
Yeah. And, just kind of looking at the Central Division, again, we talked about them already, but, Colorado, we're only 3 points behind Colorado. We beaten them both games that we played them. This last game, we embarrassed them and made them look silly. No reason we don't beat Colorado in the standings. So that puts us in fourth. Dallas aside with Colorado, we're only 3 points behind them. Had you asked me beginning of the season, I don't remember 100%, but I'm pretty sure I said Dallas wins this division. They're not doing bad by any means, but they are absolutely underperforming. We go toe-to-toe with Dallas right now. I think Winnipeg, Minnesota are going to be fighting each other for the top spot all year. I don't think anybody's catching those two. But I could easily see Utah being a third in the division team this year. That's not that out there. That doesn't take a lot of things to go right. We just need to continue playing solid. We don't need to go on a 15-game win streak or anything crazy. So yeah, it's blowing me away. It's cool. It's awesome to be able to actually have a home team and pay as close attention as I have been.
Yeah, it's really fun. I'm glad you're getting to do it locally because it's just different.
It's different, yeah.
Yeah. So good luck to them and good luck to you, I guess. Because I have influence on that.
Yeah.
Anywho, okay. On to our player weekly updates.
Edmonton.
What? Sorry?
I said the Western Conference Finals, Utah, Edmonton. Wouldn't that be something?
It's not what I would
Wouldn't that be
predict.
something?
That is optimistic.
This is not my prediction, but wouldn't that be something?
That would be something. That would be absolutely wild. But
no, it would not.
It would. Well, no, it wouldn't be wild. What?
Every time for the rest of the season now.
Yeah, I really got to find another word to use.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
anyway,
now we've got some weekly player updates and some other things. We're going to be diving a lot into goalies here because Jeff let me do a lot of the planning for what we're going to be talking about today, and I just apparently found a bunch of things about goalies. So you guys,
might be because you're a goalie.
That does help. Yeah. I don't want to say that this is the reason why, but it certainly didn't deter me. I was not deterred. Okay, so milestone alert. Andrei Vasilevsky has played his 500th career game. Round of applause, everybody. Super crazy. It feels just like a couple weeks ago we were celebrating Fleury's 1,000th game started. So how crazy is that? He's got a ways to go, but he's also only 30. So he has time.
Yeah.
Marc-Andre Fleury's 80. More like 39, but
may as well be 80.
May as well be 80, but he doesn't. He plays
I don't
he's
think
25.
He's slowing down either. That's the thing.
He's playing
13
like he's
wins,
25.
2 shutouts on the year. Like, dude's
Oh
killing.
no. the crazy thing is he's in his prime. This is prime
Oh
age
yeah.
for goalies.
Oh
Like
yeah.
he's still got another minimum 3 years of being this elite level. And what's funny too, and we'll get into this. This is some foreshadowing, everyone. Look, his goals against average is better than his career wise, but his save percentage is lower. So he's letting in less goals than he has in his career per game, but is somehow making less saves. So foreshadowing, everyone. Remember that. Remember that as we get into later, because we have the man himself. We have him. I interviewed him personally, and have some quotes on this particular topic. So keep an eye out. Jeff, we have. If I was to tell you at the start of the season that a Vancouver Canuck goalie would be leading the league in shutouts at this point in the season, who do you think I would have been talking about?
Thatcher Demko.
Thatcher Demko. Would you believe me if I told you it wouldn't be Thatcher Demko? Or even Artur Shilovs, the guy who was the hero for the Canucks in the playoff series against Edmonton?
And I will say right now the same thing I told you last year in that playoff series. What even is an Artur Shilovs?
A Latvian, which
Oh.
again begs the question: what is a Latvian?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, no. Instead, we have Kevin Lankinen, the man that no one has heard of, who prior to this season had only 3 shutouts in his previous 4 seasons. Is now 14, has 14 wins in 21 games played, 3 shutouts, a 252 goals against, and a 912 save percentage. Man has absolutely been saving the Canucks season. Excuse me, with Thatcher Demko out so far until this week, and she loves sucking slew water.
Yeah. Ooh, that's a good one.
That's
a good
that.
one. I like that.
That's from my dad. Shout out to my dad for that phrase.
Yeah. Your dad does have a lot of good phrases.
He
I will
does
give
have
him
a
that.
lot of good phrases.
He has a
Yes.
lot of good fantasy hockey team names too.
Yes, he does. Yes, he's every year it's a different one, and it
he's
never
good at that.
disappoints. Never disappoints.
No. No, I mean, when you've got 3 career shutouts and now he's got 3 this year, I feel like every year in every sport, there's always somebody that's just like, yeah, I think this year I'm just going to mess around, have a career year. And he's the one doing it.
Well, and the thing is, it's not like it's against bad teams. You know, his first one this season was against Philly, so big deal. But he's also shut out Boston and Florida.
So he's had to play one good team.
Yeah, well, I mean, Boston has historically not been like this, so you can put them at a mid-range team for now in an objective set. Like they're in a playoff spot. To be
fair.
They're
so
they
mid.
are. Yeah, they're mid. They are a playoff team, so it's not like it's a bottom feeder. And Florida, the defending Cup champs, is a pretty good deal. So this guy's really come in and done some good work, and now he's gonna have to, because Demko's back, but Demko's not likely going to be at peak form or ready to take on his expected workload.
No, it's going to take him a little while to come back from his 80th injury, and by the time he gets ready to go and he's back in peak form, he'll be injured again. So, I mean, at this point, it's Lankinen's team.
Yeah. Which, I mean, Demko did return this week. He finally made his triumphant return for the season and had a 4-3 loss to St. Louis. In overtime, though. In overtime.
Yep. Which normally I'd say 4-3 loss in overtime to St. Louis is kind of embarrassing, but Monty's been kind of just going on a warpath, destroying the league with that team this year. I mean, and that's the thing with him. I feel like he's not coaching a team. He got sent over there and he says, okay, these are now my tools, and I am going to go out and destroy everybody else and embarrass everybody else. He's using them as pawns to get his revenge on the league, and I'm here for it.
Wow.
I will never forgive the Blues. I will never like the Blues. But I'm here for this. This is great. Stick it to Boston. We deserve it.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, I said it.
And speaking of sticking it to Boston, their former goalie Linus Ullmark got his 10th career shutout this week as well. So Ottawa hasn't been having the season they've necessarily wanted, but they're also not having the worst season they could, and they're not in a playoff spot, but they have games in hand that if they win would put them in a playoff spot.
Yep, and they've had some bright spots for sure, and that I feel like that's just Ottawa as a team. We're underperforming, but there are always going to be some really high highs and some bright spots. So that's kind of what I expect out of that team. With that being said, though, of course, I wasn't happy that we let Ullmark go, but I understood it when it happened. So, we've got 2 number 1 guys. You can't go on like that forever. Something's got to give at some point.
Especially with how much you'd have to pay them.
Exactly. We've already had the conversation plenty of times. Everybody else has had the conversation. I don't want to go too deep into it as far as how it all went down. You don't let your 1A go before you've secured your 1B. We get that. But as this season has gone on, I've been missing him more and more. Korpisalo, subjectively, I haven't looked at the numbers, feels like he's been better than Swayman this year. Swayman has been just dog water.
Well,
this has been a rough year. Now, granted, a lot of it is the defense, because our entire team has been dog water, but Sway has not been good. He has not been playing up to the contract that we gave him.
All right, you want to see what the 2 goalies have? So we'll start with Korpisalo. So he's played 11 games, 6 wins, 2 shutouts, 256 GAA, and a 901 save percentage. Jeremy Swayman, 21 games played, 9 wins, 1 shutout, 327 with an 855 save percentage. So, he's played half the games, but
an extra shutout, and what is that?
An extra shutout, and
7/10 of a goal less.
Yeah, like it's slightly better save percentage, but you begs the question: how much do you look into? Oh my gosh, they let him stay in for all 8 goals against Winnipeg. What is Joe Sacco doing?
At some point, hanging it on him.
Okay, this isn't on a goalie though. At that point,
no, but
that's.
I mean, pulling the goalie out is not going to do any good at that point.
Well,
I
don't know. I don't agree with that decision, but.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So I mean, Korpisalo does have some better stats.
Yes, and what I do just want to bring this up as one small moment of self gratification, one small moment of happiness. Both here on the podcast and in our fantasy league, I called Korpisalo having a career year. And I said he's not going to be a replacement for Ullmark, but Boston has a good way of developing and squeezing every last bit out of their goalies. And he's killing it right now compared to what we thought. So I'm taking credit for that, and here's my victory lap.
Okay. Well, this brings up a really good question about goalies that I've prepared a little bit of a deep dive into, because it looks like on the surface, Korpisalo, yeah, he's playing well. Oh, he's doing better than Swayman, blah blah blah. Well, is he though, or is Swayman doing bad? Is he doing poorly? Is this a league-wide thing? What's going on here? And so we're going to now watch a really funny ad that the NHL put out about goalies, promoting the league and stuff. But while you watch this, and as we're about to go into our deep dive, I don't know how related this is, but I think it's all fun, and I'm going to do it this way. Anyway, everyone, question of the day: who saves less, you buying Christmas gifts or NHL goalies? I don't know if the sound will come through to you, Jeff, but you can pull it up. I put the link in our notes if you want to watch with the sound, but I've got the sound for the people.
I've seen it.
Okay. Well, everyone, if you haven't seen this, here is this fantastic goalie ad.
Tippin is out of control these days.
Tip, score! Swayman, a tough one for a goaltender.
Everywhere you look, tip, tip, tip.
Tip and goal! Under the arm of Saros.
Sometimes all they did was stand there.
This goes off the left leg. That's pretty much how you're going to beat Markstrom.
And it's always when you're trying to save.
Tip in front! No chance for Ottinger.
What? I love tipping.
One of the best things the
Marshy.
NHL does is their advertisements.
Yeah, they're definite. Their marketing's definitely on the up and up right now. So, with this, there was a very interesting article also put out this week where the NHL, but also myself by extension, interviewed a couple of goalies, mainly Vasilevsky, on an interesting theory about the ongoing decline of the save percentage across the NHL. And so there's a couple graphics I want to show. Now, this one isn't totally accurate because I think they calculate things differently than the NHL. I think they're not taking the averages exactly right. But this does show kind of the general. It's close to the correct thing. So if we look at save percentage by division, each division is below 900.
Yep.
And which means most teams. And if you look at the teams that are at or above, you got New York, the Rangers, who have Shesterkin. And, you got Dallas with Ottinger, Winnipeg with Hellebuck, Gustafsson and Fleury for Minnesota. Just all these teams.
Toronto. Never forget.
Toronto. Never forget 9/11. They, Stollers and Wall actually being an incredible tandem. But according to the NHL, there's a save percentage right now across the league of 901, which is the lowest it has been in 19 seasons, since 2005-06, since the 05-06 season. It has not been this low. And if it keeps going like this, it could even reach below 900 by the end of this season, which would be, it hasn't been below 900 since 1995-96, before I was born. It hasn't been this low. Now, Jeff, what do you think the reason for it? Don't look at what I wrote down. Don't look at the article. Like, if you had to just out of the blue say, "Hey, why is the save percentage so much more down?" What would you guess?
Do you want my actual guess, or do you want a guess that will further this discussion?
I want your actual guess.
My actual guess. It's like we were talking about. Was it last week or 2 weeks ago with the women's league rules? I hate putting in rules to artificially inflate anything. And we have seen, and we've been hearing the league for many, many years talk, we need higher scoring, we need more excitement on the ice. I think that's a large part of it.
Interesting.
Leave it alone. Maybe scoring was down, but now that we've swung too far the other direction, every league does it. I mean, the MLB did it a number of years ago, and it became a huge scandal with the juice balls. The pitchers are doing too well. Batting is down. Well, now look at it. No pitchers are doing well at all because we're just setting offensive records every freaking year, and nobody's happy. Leave it alone.
And without looking into what the article said, I would have initially thought, you know what, there's probably something there. But I can tell you that you're wrong. That is not the reason why. It has nothing to do with the rules. It actually has to do with the thing that you want of let people figure it out.
Whoa.
Yeah. So, because you could argue initially that maybe there was that, because back at during the canceled 04-05 season, there was a rule implemented that led to smaller goalie equipment and some new rules to reduce defensive interference. Okay, so they're initially there, but also you have to look at you could say, oh, they're messing with rules. Well, sometimes you have to have restrictions on players' equipment, right? You'd have to agree, right?
Oh yeah.
Like you don't see MLB players using cricket bats.
Yeah. Wouldn't
Right?
that be something?
Wouldn't that be something? Yeah, no, like you got that. So you got to have, because if the goalie's just using the fat, if they're becoming a sumo, they're artificially inflating their size. So that's not okay. But
Unintended.
so yeah, yeah. So they're doing that, and defensive interference. I mean, I don't think you should be able to hug a guy and throw him down. It's this ain't
Crazy.
this ain't
I thought this was
Rugby.
WWE on ice.
yeah. No, no, that's the WNBA. I mean, what? Kidding. It's that's actually the NBA itself. Again, kidding. But no. So it started like that, but because in 05-06, that was the last time it was the save percentage league-wide was an average of .901. It then started to grow and grow and grow and peaked in 2014 and 15 at a .915. The league average was .915. Now, what's really funny about that season, that's the last season before Connor McDavid entered the league. So
Knew you were gonna weave him into this.
well, that actually has nothing to do with this article. I just literally in this moment was like, huh, that was crazy. I mean, that was the last time where like the Jamie Benn won the Hart Trophy for most points in the NHL with 83 or something, 83 or 87,
Yeah.
right? Like that's really bad. But since that season, it has been again declining. And when Vasilevsky was asked about this, the first thing he said was, quote, "Guys don't waste shots anymore." How many times has any of us been watching a game where we're watching the players pass and pass and pass and pass, and we're like, shoot the puck?
Every single Utah game,
And it's-
without fail.
And it's not Utah.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
everyone. And
That's interesting.
and again, Vasilevsky says, quote, "They're all looking for that perfect play, perfect pass, perfect shot."
Mm-hmm.
And so because he says when he came into the league in 2014-15, interesting enough, it used to be every game was 30 to 35 plus shots, every game.
Easy. Yeah.
Because there was just so many fluff shots. But in that decade since, the amount of analytics that has gone into tracking where pucks are shot from, where goals are scored from, both in terms of on the ice and where on a goalie, you can, when it's shot from the blue line, there's a stat like it's saved 97% of the time.
Yeah.
Whereas now we know where shots go in and are only saved 20 to 40% of the time. So as you're doing that kind of analysis, you're looking at, okay, well, should we be shooting from these places? In a fan's head, you're like, just shoot the puck, good things happen, get the rebound, whatnot. But since goalies are getting better, players have to get better. And so they're going to look for that perfect play because they're now viewing the low percentage shots as essentially a turnover.
Mm-hmm.
Because, okay, great, the goalie saved it and he either covered it up or it was able to get to a defender. What did we accomplish?
Exactly. Yeah.
And players' skills are getting so good, and their scoring ability, and the tracking on each individual goalie, even with where they tend to get scored on, is getting so elite that it's not even fair for the goalies because they're just broken down into these numbers that completely pull apart and lay them bare in front of players to feast upon.
Yeah.
And so it's no wonder the save percentage is going down because we're getting less shots per game, and most of the shots now are super high quality.
Yeah.
What are goalies supposed to do, man?
Yeah. No, I mean, it's it's exactly like you were just mentioning too, where at that point, what 915 save percentage? Okay, the goalie's doing really well. Well, now they're not. So now the goalies have to find a way to either use the analytics or, if I'm really bad on shots from the left side from the face-off circle, okay, well now I know that everybody in the league knows that that's what I'm bad at. Now I need to work on that. Whatever it ends up being. I do like the idea that let's create high quality shots instead of let's just put it on net 80 times a game. I do like that. However, I fear what's going to happen is what's happened, and again, I always bring it back to baseball because that's what I know even more than hockey. The most egregious example in recent memory was I think it was 2017, 2018, somewhere in there. The Orioles and the Yankees in the playoffs. Orioles have been just making the Yankees look silly. They've got their all-star closer, league-leading closer in the game. Analytics said he's going to give up a hit this at-bat, pull him. The eye test, the knowing baseball test, the feeling test said he's rolling right now. He's on it. He's killing it. He has not had better stuff than he does tonight all season. Leave him. He got pulled. Next batter on the relief pitcher hits a walk-off home run. Yankees beat the Orioles. Move on to the next round. It was either that same year or the year after. Tampa Bay was in the World Series. They've got Blake Snell pitching. He's destroying the Dodgers. Analytics said pull him. They pulled him. He was having the best game of his career. The Rays collapsed. Dodgers win the World Series. I fear that if we're paying too much attention and giving too much credit to analytics, we're taking the fun out of the game and we're turning this game into nothing more than just an algorithm and a math problem to be solved. Look for those high quality passes. Look for those high quality shots. You definitely need to know the analytics. You need to know and have that information. But there is something to be said. There are plenty of times where we're sitting there watching the games and it's, yeah, why'd you try to squeeze an extra pass? You might be in a low-scoring chance, but you passed it. Tried to pass it through the middle to the guy in a high-scoring chance area, but there was 3 defenders there. Shoot the puck. You can either pass it for a turnover or shoot the puck for a probable turnover. Sometimes, screw the analytics. Do what feels right. And so I think we went from this side. We've swung too far to this side. I'm hoping we can find a good balance in the middle somewhere as time goes on.
I agree with everything you said, except for we've swung too far to the other side, which maybe in other sports we have. I don't think we've hit that point in hockey because I still see teams do plenty of, analytics are great externally, looking at it at a higher level view. But within the game itself, go with how it looks. Go with the gut. Yeah. And, it's about approaches, tendencies, and, predictions of, okay, what do I prefer what do I think's the lower, higher percentage opportunity? But also about mixing it up because if you get too predictable, well, then you're easier to read on analytics as well, right?
Exactly.
So I see a lot of players still do things where it's like they're looking to pass, and then they'll shoot, or the other way, they're looking to shoot, pass. And, I see McDavid is a great example of this because I think he does a great job of mixing it up to such a great degree where you can't predict what he will do in any given situation.
Yeah. And that's what I want to make sure stays.
Yeah. I think, though, it's harder for goalies to do this because what they can do in their position is so limited. Because yes, they can practice and work on the areas where they do give up the most amount of shots, but there comes a certain point for a goalie where there's only so much you can do.
Exactly.
Because a lot of what separates goalies in terms of their skill is actually not learnable.
Yeah.
Because you can learn the positioning, you can learn the techniques to perfection, all of them. But the things that separate the most elite, the best goalies in the world from your minor league goalies is not much in terms of in terms of technical skill, but more about their ability to process the game quickly enough and their genetic athleticism.
Yeah.
Most people in the world cannot do the splits like Andrei Vasilevsky. And there's no way that you and him can help other people do it. No way that we can do it like you. We're just most people's bodies are not built to do that, and you cannot change that. You cannot teach it. Cannot be learned. And the ability to think quickly enough, to process a situation enough, and intake the correct information, filter out all external irrelevant information, is something that you are born with, not taught. And so there is, I believe, a limit to what we can expect from goalies.
Sure.
Widespread. And we're likely going to have to, as fans, begin to change our expectations of goalies. Because if this trend continues, it's just going to be higher scoring games. Because players are getting too good. And we're going to have to change our attitude and expectations of goalies and not be so hard on them, because we're going to make it even worse if we start to be overly critical of our netminders.
No, and that's fair. That's fair. And the thing with that is, again, if that's the way it goes and it comes naturally, awesome. I'm fine with that. It's going to be an adjustment. It's going to be a learning period, but it'll happen. I mean, again, with baseball, when I was growing up, early teens through my teen years, if you're hitting under 300, you're not a very good batter. Like 300 is kind of the minimum. That's kind of the standard. You should be hitting over 300. Now nobody hits 300. Some of the best players in the league are hitting 270, 280. And for the most part, I think a lot of people have adjusted. I still have moments, though, where I'm like, why is he leading the league at 285? Why are we celebrating this guy hitting 302? And we're just acting like he's the greatest baseball player of all time. You still have those moments from time to time. And I see the same thing's going to happen here. It's going to take a couple of years. Once everybody starts to get used to it, then we're going to accept that's the new norm, and that's just the way that it is. It's going to take some time to get to that point, though.
Yeah, there definitely is going to need to be figuring out what is the new normal for goalies, because, and that's going to take a while. And because teams are just getting so good at picking apart goalies and defense. Like at the end of this article, Binnington, they have this quote from Binnington, which is actually fantastic. I rarely ever say something Jordan Binnington says is fantastic, but this is one of those times. He said, quote, "A lot of our team meetings are just about how to score, finding ways to score rather than just getting pucks to the net." Which, I mean, you think of the stereotypical interview. Oh, how do you think that controversial call went? Oh, we just got to get pucks deep, get pucks on net, and make good plays. Get pucks on net. Well, now we got to get pucks in the net, because they can find the ways. Our analytics are so good that you can find the holes and give people options so that they can, in their creativity, in their decision making, they know where to look for the best options, and then based off of what they see, pick what in the moment is best. It helps filter out what to look for.
Well, and a thought that I had on top of that too, like, I mean, all this is accurate, all this is true. It's an evolving game, but I just think of that whole, like you said, everybody for years it was get pucks on net, and it just makes me think, like, that was probably the right thing, and that was probably good advice at the time. Both because that was what was working against the goalies, but sometimes that's the advice that you need to hear changes. If you're not shooting enough, that's probably the advice that you need to hear. You just need to start shooting. Take shots. I don't care if they're good shots. Take shots. Get pucks on net. And as a league, that's probably where we were at that point. That advice now has changed. maybe 20 years from now, maybe we've gone again. Maybe we have gone too far, where the only shots I'm willing to take are those perfect 100% scoring chances. Maybe we're gonna hear, stop doing that. Get pucks on net. I want to see 50 shots a night. Maybe we get back to that point. So a lot of it is just that's the advice that needs to be given at that time, and it's changed.
Yeah, and I think it has, but with the stipulation, if you're in a game struggling or as a team struggling, especially to score, it does reach a point where that will always and forever be the basic. That will be basic, simple hockey is get pucks on net. And if things aren't working out and the things you're trying to do aren't working, you can always go back to that because that will always lead to good things.
Exactly.
No matter what. It becomes an issue of good, better, best. That will always be the good and or the better. Which you can always fall back on if the best isn't working for whatever reason. Your puck luck's not there, the bounces aren't happening, you're having an off game, or just the other team's really good and shutting down what you would be your normal best. If that's not working, go back to the better, go back to the good, because that will always be a correct approach, just maybe not always the best approach.
Yep.
It will never not be good to do that.
Exactly. So it's all about change, and you as a player, but you as a team also just need to understand maybe we're not ready for best right now. Maybe we do need to take a step back. Let's reestablish the fundamentals. Let's get back to better and then work our way back up again. It's going to be different.
Yeah. I agree. Okay. Well, thank you for joining me along that journey of a deep dive into the save percentage that is great for me, except when it hurts me. Sort of one of those problems that I love it, except when it hurts me. Because when it's impacting everyone else, fantastic. When it's impacting me, maybe not. All right. Well, Jeff, we get to finish off today with our head-to-head. And guys out there in Extra Attacker Land, I've come back. I've made it back. Last week I got seven right, 4 wrong. Jeff got four right, 7 wrong, which means I've now tied up the season series. 3 wins, 3 losses, one tie. I'm back after starting 0-3. It took 4 attempts, but I'm back.
Yep. I'm embarrassed. This is how fantasy goes every year for me too, though. I start out dominant and then just mid at best. So
yeah.
If I don't
you're
build up a streak up at the beginning, we're done.
You're pumping me this week, so I'm really hoping for a good day.
I haven't even looked.
You have 111.3 points versus my 74.9.
Ooh.
Which I'm having a really off week after absolutely destroying the last 3-4 weeks. I mean, I'm on a 5-week winning streak right now too. I'm leading the league. I'm leading the league right now. I'm number 1 in the league, but I was almost caught up to you in points for it. I'd almost surpassed you. This was the week where if I could beat you, I'd pass you in points for. I'd truly be asserting league domination, though. The guy who's tied with me for the lead of the league, if he'd won, then we would have been tied. But he's losing right now as well, so I'll still maintain my first place status.
Oh, yeah, I'm just looking. Tuesday was the day that really broke it open for me. I mean, ranting and deciding, I kind of want a hat trick and 2 assists on top of that.
Yeah, it was. You had, I think it was a 58 point.
Yeah. And then Wednesday, you just didn't have anybody playing, so I tacked another 10.2.
Yeah, that's the thing. I've had Monday and Wednesday where I didn't have anyone playing. So you probably have also just had more games from your players. Let's see if it'll show me that stat. I think in browser it does. I'm pretty sure I've seen that in browser. So I might have to. Let's see here, and then we'll do our predictions. We'll see if I can get that stat up.
Oh, jeez.
for us.
Also, my top 6 players all have more points than your number 1 player this week. So, and your number 1 player is Chris Letang.
Yeah. So it's looking like it's not gonna show me there, but yeah, you're more than double me in terms of goals scored. But yeah, I'd have to do. Oh wait, no, here we go. So my guys have played. I've had 38 games played. You've had 41 games played.
Okay.
No wait, now it's saying you only have 17 goals. What? Oh, that's in terms of points. Oh, I see. Yeah, so you've had 3 more games from your players, but also 2 more goalie games than I've had.
And I got Stolarz. So
Yeah, but Wall stole
And
1 win
Chris-
from him. So that was nice. But yeah,
that-
like your goalies have just been, for the most part, well, I guess
This is
just one goalie.
yeah, but this is the first year in fantasy I'm actually like confident in my goalies.
Yeah, you've ended up with a decent. You've got Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen,
Yeah.
Philip Gustafsson, and Stolarz. So that's a good combo.
The
I've
worst
got-
is Dustin Wolf averaging 4.2 a game.
Oh yeah, and Wolf. You've got Wolf.
Yeah,
I've got
good.
Wall, Skinner, Hill, and Georgiev.
Oh, you ended up with Georgia Jev this year? I'm sorry.
I picked him up. He was an upgrade with whoever I had before him, unfortunately.
That makes sense.
So it was kind of like I don't
Hey,
want
well,
him,
yeah.
but the guy I had, whoever he was, I don't even remember. That's how bad he was, is I don't even remember who he was.
Well, and
But yeah.
just remember too, the last 2 years, maybe 3 years, Carlin had him, and I've been all year. I'm just like, dude, what does it take? Like, I'd like to get him from you.
Yeah.
And this year, I'm just like, and now look what happened. I must be the goalie whisperer or something. I don't know.
You must be. But let's see if you can turn things around and become the prediction whisperer again. You started off hot. And here we go. New Jersey, Chicago.
New Jersey.
Yeah, I started writing it down before I even.
You did.
LA,
That was-
New York, Rangers.
New York.
And the Rangeners.
The Rangeners.
The Rangers.
Yeah, I'm taking New York.
I'm also taking New York. Because I keep not believing in LA and most of the time, and they keep somehow winning, which maybe next week I'll have to try and do an investigation. Yeah. Philly versus Minnie.
Minnie.
Yeah. Vegas, Edmonton. It's a matinee. So wait, before you say it is a matinee, which Edmonton's historically been bad in, but we just lost to Vegas 1-0 last time in a game where we should have won, but Hill stole the show, and it is in Edmonton. So I feel like that's a big coin flip. I wish I hadn't picked Edmonton before, because I've now started saying that I won't change. I won't pick based off of what you pick. So yeah, okay.
But you might have convinced yourself that.
Yeah,
was right.
we keep picking the home team too, weirdly enough. Okay. Pittsburgh, Ottawa.
Well, that streak's going to continue. I take Ottawa.
We're both man, this is a really boring week. We're both taking Ottawa.
Just wait. I'm sure there will be something we disagree on.
All right, Toronto, Detroit.
Toronto.
Gosh dang it. Is there going to be any difference? Okay, Buffalo, Washington.
This was a tough one, but I am going to take Washington.
Gosh dang it. Me too. All right, this has to be Anaheim, Columbus.
Anaheim.
Frick! No. No way.
No
wow.
way.
What are the odds? What are the odds? Okay.
No way.
Montreal, Winnipeg.
Winnipeg.
Both Winnipeg.
There's no way.
San Jose, not San Jose. St. Louis, Dallas.
St. Louis.
Thank you. Okay, there we go. I
There's
picked
one,
Dallas.
okay.
There we go. There's one. Okay, finally. It only took
had a feeling
1,
that was
2,
gonna be
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Our 10th. It took 10 tries for us to deviate. We are living in a simulation, everyone. We are living in a simulation. Nashville, Colorado.
I think this one will be different too. Nashville.
Yeah, I'm picking Colorado.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think Colorado's goaltending is really gonna spur them into motion. Really give them that comeback. Florida,
This one I know is
Calgary.
gonna be different. Calgary.
Yeah, well, I'm picking Florida. I can't pick
Yeah, of course.
Calgary. Plus,
I
it's a
can't pick Florida.
yeah. I know it did like. We didn't even have to ask what it
No.
would be. Boston, Vancouver.
Give me Vancouver.
I'm going Boston, and that's
I hope you're right.
like it. I feel like this is a coin flip right now because they're both Vancouver just has continued to struggle at home, and it's
Yeah.
in Vancouver. But DeBrusk is playing his old team, so that's there's that. Demko's
it's
back,
Boston.
so it's Boston. So you don't know what Boston you're gonna get each night.
Exactly. Exactly.
You really don't know. So
Exactly.
I just really want Vancouver to lose to help with Edmonton maintain. They're ahead of Vancouver right now, and I want to maintain that.
That's fair. That's fair.
Utah, San Jose. I feel like this one's
Utah.
Utah Hockey Club. And Tampa Bay versus Seattle.
Tampa.
Yeah, both.
Well, we have 4 that we disagreed on.
Oh dear.
I hope we don't go 2-2 on that. Part of me kind of does.
Yeah. Okay. Well. We'll
That
see.
was
We'll see what
interesting.
happens. Yeah. That was. We haven't had it be like that. So in sync.
No, no. One of these weeks now that I've seen this though, one of these weeks I'm convinced we're gonna accidentally just go all the way, and then the last game we're gonna differentiate on, and then the last game's gonna go to like 10 rounds of the shootout or something ridiculous.
Yeah. That would be
That would be
wicked.
something.
Yeah. All right, cool. Well, thank
Anyway.
you everybody. Thank you for joining us.
Appreciate y'all.
And until next time, watch some hockey and be kind to your goalie.
Yes, goalies have feelings too. Believe it or not. I
They
didn't
they have
believe
the
it.
hardest job in all of sports. Cuz
Yeah.
no other sport has one position where if you make a mistake 20,000 people around you cheer in excitement.
Pitchers.
Yeah, no, I'll give you that. I'll give you that. You know what? No. Well, see, no, then it's like 60,000
I mean, yeah, that's true.
because baseball stadiums can hold like at least 3 times the amount hockey stadiums have. It's almost like baseball fields are bigger than hockey rinks.
A little bit. A little bit. A little bit.
Okay, well, bye everybody.